morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Ahimbisibwe Emmanuel is here back from the Orchard of Marriage Ministries, preaching the word of God, preaching to the marriages and praying that no marriage is lost, no couple is lost. In the name of Jesus, we believe and trust. And this morning, this time, we have come to share with you the message on the marriage fellowships. The marriage fellowships, the topic for today, is what we are going to share about. Some people call it the marriage service, others call it the marriage fellowships. That is what I have come to share with us this time. And I want to thank God so much for all of you who have listened in, who have opened our messages, and they've been blessed, they've been encouraged, they've been strengthened by the grace of God. I want to thank God for every one of you, wherever you are listening from, wherever you're watching from, at whatever time you are watching in, listening in. May the good Lord bless you. I want to thank God so much. I'm back again to share on the marriages fellowships or marriages service. It could be marriages meetings also. It depends where you are coming from. Depends how people choose to name them, but they serve the same purpose. So, what are they? What are they? These marriages meetings, they build a holy marriage. They bring us together. They come from, you could connect them with the Acts chapter 2, verse 42 to 47, where the believers met regularly to break the blade and to build each other, to equip each other. These marriages, fellowships, they bring us together to share about our marriages, and they equip us, they disciple us, they encourage us, they strengthen us. That is the purpose for the marriage service. So I want to encourage you, dear friends, wherever you are listening in, I would encourage every church to have a ministry for the marriages, and when they have a ministry for the marriages, to go ahead and have these fellowships for the marriages where the marriage people are meeting and they share things concerning their marriage. They are sharing about their marriages, they're encouraging each other. This life you do not need to walk it alone. Walking this life alone can be straining, can be stressful, can be discouraging, can be heartbreaking, it can be boring. So a lot of things can happen when you do life alone. So I would encourage you, dear friends, wherever you are coming from, you realize most of the churches, especially in the cities and the towns, they've embraced this. It's most likely the churches up country that have not yet embraced this, but I would encourage you, and the different churches will call it these different names. I've talked of marriages fellowships. Maybe you may need to know if we are coming from the traditional churches like the Anglicans. Maybe these are Mothers Union Church fellowships. Maybe these are Fathers Union fellowships. It is not strange from such. Maybe it could be other churches may call it men's ministry, married men's ministry, married women's ministry, married ministry. So it can be given different names depending on the different places. So I would encourage you, if you're coming from a church that does not have this ministry, if it is possible, dear friends, go ahead and see how it can be started. Go ahead and see if you can lead it. Go ahead and see if you can encourage to have it set up on ground, and let the married people come. You know, we have different challenges that are common to all of us, the married people. We have different issues that are common to all of us, married people. We have a different life that is common to all of us, and you would want where you can really share about these matters as people who share the common goal, people who share the common environment, the common setup. So I would encourage you, wherever you are, dear friends, have these married fellowships that can be of an encouragement to you. This journey you can feel tired, you can feel discouraged and bored along the way, yet it will help you so much when you belong to these married cells, because when they meet, they share about certain things that are common to them. They help each other grow. In this marriage, you have to grow every other time. The marriage that is 1 year old should be different from a marriage that just started this weekend. A marriage that is maybe 5 years old would be happy to see it different from a marriage that is 1 year old. We should be growing every other time. As couples, when you look back, when you are 1 year in marriage, and when you are 5 years in marriage, now you are 10 years in marriage, now you are celebrating 40 years in marriage, maybe you are celebrating your silver jubilee, your jubilee 50 years in marriage. There should be a difference. That journey should show you a growing curve. It should show you a growing curve, a growing trajectory where you have reached now and where you are coming from. You must have been equipped to handle matters that could pertain to marriage. You have been equipped to handle matters pertaining to marriage. How far are you now? There are certain things that teased you maybe. There are certain things that mocked you when you are still young in your marriage. But as you grow, you get away how to outgrow them, you appreciate them better, and you are able to handle life in a different way. So this is what we are talking about. That when we meet as married fellowship in a married fellowship, it encourages you, it equips you to handle certain things better. Certain things better. You disciple each other in the word of God. You disciple each other in biblical matters. You disciple each other, in Christian matters. Things that pertain to the married Christians. The married Christians. The world has brought a lot of things. When you go to social media now, you are likely to pick wrong data. You are likely to pick data that will not help you. But when you come to a married fellowship where you are meeting people, maybe they are all Christians, maybe they all have biblical values, they have all godly values. It helps you better. You appreciate life in that very direction. You appreciate life with that kind of focus. That is focus in Christian principles, in Christian, values. I want to challenge you, dear friends, start a marriage fellowship where you are all belong to one. Look for one. And this marriage fellowship, they don't have a church name. Most of them, when you go there, when it is about marriage, it's about marriage. It does not have a lot to do with church. Even when they're church based, but they have less to do with church. Because when we are discussing, for example, financial matters, how to handle family money, family finances, it does not have a religion. It does not have a church denomination handling family finances. Sex in marriage. When we're talking about sex in marriage, does not have anything to do with religion. These are things that are common to all of us. So that's why you need to belong to one. I'm trying to say, if your church does not have one, most of the churches, it is not wrong to connect yourself to a neighboring, maybe marriage safe. I go to some church and we have these marriage fellowships. But in our marriage fellowships of the church, we have people who are not part of our church, but they come and we embrace them. And they also embrace our messages. They embrace our discussion. They go to some churches, some other churches, some other denominations. But when it comes to marriage fellowships, they come to our place and we embrace each other. Embrace each other. Yet there is another marriage fellowship which I belong to. For it is clear that it is mixed. It is a mix from members, like the Orchard of Marriage, let me say. The Orchard of Marriage embraces members from different denominations, different churches. It is not church-based. So I want to encourage you, dear friends, you need to connect to some marriage fellowship. And for that matter, if you are able to have to belong even to more than one, it is very okay. Very okay. Because you pick different content from each of them. Different content from each of them. So I want to encourage you, dear friends, even as we do our marriages, certain things you will never hear them at the pulpit in your church. Certain things we go through as married people, you may never hear about them at your church. You may never hear them at the pulpit in your church. You may need to belong to a married fellowship where you can really handle things in detail. In detail. When we belong to a married fellowship, why we go there is that for them they are able to handle things at detailed level. And some of these marriage fellowships you may meet and you develop a topic within yourselves. You say today we are going to develop to discuss about finances. But some places you go there, you find an agenda. Like by the church I go to, they will send a discussion guideline, and you discuss along that line, that guideline, and people participate. People participate. It is participatory. It does not have a preacher, but people participate and they share about this. Maybe you have a leader who is guiding the discussion, and maybe the church has sent you the discussion guideline, and you are following that. But it's participatory, and you express yourselves. You make confessions. You make questions. You present your questions, and you discuss this matter in detail. You share your experiences. This is the only place where you can go and share your experience. You remember at church we don't have many places where we can share about our experiences. But at a marriage fellowship, you are able to share about your experiences, personal experience, and it builds us. It builds us, both the young and the old. The thing I want to be clear about, marriage fellowship do not have the age group. They do not have the age. Anyone, you are 50 years in marriage, you are 1 year in marriage, you are 1 week in marriage, you need to belong to them. They will equip you, they will encourage you, they will unveil something new to you. Because these marriages I want to share with you, dear friends, For some reason, every marriage, there is a way how it is autonomous, how it is independent. I mean, the life they go through, there is a way how it is totally different from the life you go through. And that's why you need to walk to go to this marriage fellowship. There is a way how the experience you are going through now, the challenge you are facing today, someone has gone through it and they can share with you the way you can the way they overcome it and how you can customize it your way, and you can also overcome. So I want to challenge you, dear friends, you need to belong to this marriage fellowship. Experiences are shared. Something that is perturbing you today, someone has walked through it and they have overcome. And the other marriage fellowship, they have a speaker. You can call a speaker or a facilitator to come and discuss, handle some topic, like I've told you, maybe about finances. Someone can come and find and handle that topic and they discuss it, and finally they give you time also to ask questions, to add on the content, to share an experience. There will be always open places. If you belong to a marriage fellowship and they don't have that moment of asking questions, they don't have moments of members making a contribution, they don't have moments of sharing experiences, of sharing, adding on content, and then that marriage fellowship, maybe it is lacking. There's a problem. When you go there and it becomes another church where there is a preacher only, there's a problem maybe. When you make it a place where you go and it is listening to one person, maybe dictating all of the time, then there's a problem. The marriage fellowship, they become more helpful when they are participatory, when they are open places, when they are open ground, and people are sharing their experiences, people are handling different matters, they are sharing, they are making a confession, they are like, I have a confession to make. Maybe what has been just shared about, someone has been doing it wrong. The thing is that most of us, we pick different information from different places, and it's very possible that what you are doing gives a wrong direction. These marriages, I want to challenge you, dear friends. Most of us have learned from our parents, and these parents, some of them did not do it very rightly. You'll find you're a dictator just because, like your parents were dictators. You're finding challenges in handling finances because all you're doing is you learned it from your parents, and they never did it very rightly. You didn't have a good exposure. You have not had any training places, and you're copying from your parents and taking it outside to the people, to the community, to your spouse, and your spouse is suffering because whatever you're doing is all that you picked from your parents, who also never did it very right, who also struggled in this area. But it is human exposure that you got, and you're taking it to the public, you're taking it to your family, and your family suffers under your arm because you're learning from your parents. So, dear friends, I want to challenge us that your parents cannot be the only source. The church cannot be the only source. But when you meet as couples from different backgrounds, from different places, it is likely to enrich your marriage. It is likely to enrich the way you lead your family. It is likely to enrich the way you operationalize things in your marriage, the way you face conflict, the way you face matters in your marriage. It does not have to be right from your parents only. You need that kind of exposure from the marriage fellowship. And you learn why I belong to more than one. Because I know what it means, because I've picked content from here, I customize it to my family, for the good of our marriage, and we can flourish and we can do very well. We face different challenges, but because we have been exposed in different places, we've had experience from different people, then it encourages us to handle family matters better. It helps us to enjoy our marriages better because we have been exposed to these places. Because in those places, they will also expose you to read the Word of God. And when you read the Word of God, members, it encourages you so much. Encourages you so much. These places, you will have a lot of fun in these marriage fellowships. You'll have a lot of fun. This marriage, I told you right from the beginning that it should not be a prison. To some people, it has become like a prison. To some people, it is so much boring. But I want to challenge you, dear friends, if you don't want your marriage to be boring, belong to a marriage fellowship. There will be fun, there will be jokes, there will be a lot of outings, there will be a lot of, going to the beach if you can, there will be, eating, breaking bread. So I want to encourage you, dear friends, you need to belong to a marriage fellowship. Then I told you already about the biblical teachings. It is in this place of marriage fellowships, marriage cells, where you can be equipped with the marriage principles, with the biblical principles that can help you along this journey, that can help you continue walking this journey together joyfully and peacefully. So I want to challenge you, dear friends. In these marriage fellowships, we share about scriptures also. About scriptures. We find scriptures which connect exactly with the experiences of the married person, with experiences in our marriages. So I want to challenge you, dear friends. Yes, we need to be exposed to these biblical teachings in our marriage fellowships. Peer-to-peer learning. You get the peer-to-peer learning. You're learning from your peers and they're learning from you also. So I want to challenge you, dear friends. Maybe you meet someone who is also at your age in marriage. They're 5 years like you're 5 years in marriage. They're 20 years like you're 20 years in marriage. And maybe you're wondering, why are they that far? And for me, I'm still struggling in this area. Why are they struggling? And for me, I've overcome that area. Someone will tell you, man, the things of finances is killing our marriage. The thing of sex is killing our marriage. We are not having sex at all. We are having it once in a month. You're having it once in 2 months. It's killing our marriage. I am tired of this marriage. What is it? And the wife, maybe someone is telling you, hygiene has become a problem. Hygiene has become a problem. But when you hear from different members, you hear someone, it was a problem to us also. Well, at some point, it was a problem to us, but this is how we handled it. So, dear friends, you will hear those experiences and they can equip you how to do this marriage better. Sometimes we have learned from our parents, and all we know, this is the only better thing, this is the only better way, this is the only better way. Only to realize when you hear from different peer members, from different peer partner, peer friends, you realize that, hey, actually, this thing it can be handled differently. Can be handled differently. Some people knew it is the man who has to shop food at home. It is the man who has to handle money at home. It is the man, everyone has to ask the dad at home money. But when you hear from different people, you realize actually it's not the case. And you're like, oh, so you mean you can also entrust the wife with money? Yes, it can. And you can learn all these things from the marriage fellowships. Prayer. You'll be supported in prayer in these marriage fellowships, dear friends. When you go to this marriage fellowship, they equip you with prayer. You pray together, you hold hands together, and you can pray together about issues, about matters. You commit yourselves to God when you are in these marriage fellowships. If your marriage fellowship is not encouraging you in prayer, is not supporting you in prayer terms, then there's a problem. But I want to encourage you, dear friends, in these marriage fellowships, we have an honest ground. As I wish that wherever you go, dear friends, you create an honest environment for the marriages to share their experiences, for the marriages to entrust you with their testimonies, with their experiences, to entrust you with what they have believed in, with what they have gone through, to entrust you with their confessions. When you go to marriages where people are just putting on plastic faces, plastic testimonies, then there's a problem. There's a problem. And that's one thing that has killed marriage fellowships. If you ask what is the challenge of the marriage fellowship, the challenge that they face is that some of them, they will have members who are putting on plastic faces, plastic testimonies, plastic experiences. When they go in the marriage fellowship, they talk like for them they have reached. Yet we know their struggles. They have been at the verge of breaking now and again. They have not had sex for some months, for some weeks. And when they come to fellowship, they're holding hands, they're joyful, dancing. It's like they're on top of it. When someone confesses something they're struggling with, they're like, no, you are a believer, you shouldn't struggle with that. You know, they look at you like a sinner. Look at you like the worst sin, as a matter of fact. They look at you like, for you, what's wrong with you? Are you not born again? Are you not saved? How can you be a saved person? How can you be a Christian and then you're struggling with that? They attack you. So they should not be attacks. We should be accommodative. Should be accommodative to the worst struggling couple, to the one which is better. Dear friends, we need to be accommodative. We need to create an honest ground where people can share from their hearts their kind of experiences. We need to be accommodative. So, dear friends, I want to challenge us. Let us not attack each other. And in this kind of fellowship, we need this kind of honesty and trust, such that what we share there does not go outside. If you are in a marriage fellowship where what you are sharing at the end of the day, you'll find it in the public, you'll find it every member of the church knows, you'll share it, you'll find it in your neighbors. Someone shared an experience at the marriage fellowship, but tomorrow they will find it on the street, see, then that one kills the fellowship. That one kills the fellowship. When you read Acts chapter 2, verse 42, down there up to 47, it tells you how they were of one spirit, they were in one accord, they loved each other, they met in fellowship, and they were in one spirit, they shared everything together, and they had a spirit of generosity, they were sharing what they had together, and the Lord added on them number. He multiplied them because they were in one accord. Every time a fellowship is in one accord, every time for churches to grow, they need to be in one accord. They need to be in one spirit, unity, and oneness has to be embraced. And that's when people can entrust you with their testimonies, with their experiences, and then the fellowship will grow. So, dear friends, I want to challenge us. that honest ground, that honest environment is very, very necessary, that is accommodative, that is full of respect for each other. You need to be respectful to each other, dear friends. You need to be respectful to each other. We don't need to have classes. The moment you have classes, then you'll have a problem. We don't need to have classes. So, dear friends, I want to challenge you in this marriage fellowship. I don't know the challenges I've had to bring them up before because we need to face this. Because some people may keep listening and they're like, I tried that and it failed. We had started that, but it failed. Why did it fail? Most likely is because of what I'm highlighting. That people did not entrust each other. There were classes. You find there is a class of the rich and the class of the poor. Someone was asking me about Holy Communion recently, how it was happening, and I told him Paul condemned Holy Communion in 1 Corinthians 15 of people reaching there, and it was about eating and drinking wine and a lot of food, and meanwhile the rich were eating together and the poor were eating from outside. So classes. Marriage fellowships, when you develop the spirit of classes, it is going to be spoiled and it is going to crash and it's going to break. So, dear friends, I want to challenge you in all that you are doing. Our fellowships should not have classes of the rich and those who are not rich. Those who have cars, when they come in, those who don't have cars, they look small because at the end of the fellowship, they don't even have how to live the fellowship. But I want to challenge us. One thing that makes us in one spirit that builds our marriage fellowships is that even when we are there, like where I go to, by the end of the fellowship, you share with the people who don't have cars and you can take them in your cars. No one should walk. If it means putting more people because we are at our village, we are meeting at our village, we can. But let us, drop them at their home. Go and pick them and bring them to the fellowship. That's what build is a marriage fellowship. That oneness, that unity, that coordination, that connectivity is what brings us to a marriage fellowship. There should be opportunities for us to grow. Every fellowship that we come to, one of the attracting magnets should be that whenever we go there, there's something we are learning. Whenever we come from this marriage fellowship, there is a brick it is adding on our family. There's a brick it is adding to our marriage. But if you go to fellowship and there's no brick that is being added to your marriage, it is not adding on you at all, it is not helping you to grow, then there's trouble. There's trouble. Because even the one who is 50 years in marriage should be able to learn something to add on their marriage. Even someone who is considered to be the best couple should have something to learn from this marriage, as a matter of fact. So there should be opportunities of growth at this marriage fellowship where we are meeting, at this marriage cell where we are meeting. So, dear friends, I want to challenge you. You need to belong to a marriage fellowship such that you can grow. There are some marriages where there's some married couple, you meet them 5 years, 10 years, 20 years in marriage, and they look like they are still 2 years. They look like they've just started. Because one, the challenge they are still facing, they are at the basic level. That basic level. But also, you realize they are not growing. The way they handle each other, the way they treat each other, they are not growing. Dear friends, over years, there's a certain way I have learned to treat my wife. There's a certain way she has learned to treat me just because we have belonged to this marriage fellowship and we have learned something here and there. You put on test some things. You need to check up. When you go to this marriage fellowship, it puts your experiences to test. Whatever you thought it was the best way, you learn from different people. Averagely, you come to learn, I better drop this thing. Because it's not helping. It is not helping me. You realize you are doing, it is only a marriage fellowship where you can learn what you're doing is wrong. Today we have a lot of wrong plates where we are picking our things. We have a lot of wrong things we are doing just because we learned from different wrong places. Wrong places. Wrong places. So, dear friends, come to marriage fellowship where you can learn a lot, where you can experience a lot of things. I've told people, one thing that you learn from a marriage fellowship, we are a man and a woman who are married. So most of us, we struggle to know how does a man behave. When you are a man, you are like, how do I treat a wife? Who is a wife? What are expectations of the wife? What are the characters of the wife? What are expectations of the wife? What should I expect from a wife? What should I expect and what should I not expect? What should I expect from a man and what should I not expect from a man? Who is a man? How should I treat a man? And how should a man treat a woman? All these things you learn from a marriage fellowship. Just to learn that concept of how to treat a man and how to treat a woman. Who is a wife and who is a husband? What are expectations of the wife? What are expectations of the man? All these you can only learn them at a marriage fellowship. And dear friends, you need them. You may not get the exact scripture where you can know how a wife behaves, how a man behaves, but her husband behaves. But the moment we come together in a marriage fellowship, you really come to learn how we behave and what to expect from each other and what should not expect from each other. As a matter of fact, I'm about to share with us, dear friends, that our expectations are the worst challenges in a marriage. We expect things that are outrageous. We expect things that are not in order. You expect things that are not, you are a man expecting from your wife certain things that a woman may never do. As a matter of fact, no woman can never do. But for some reason, you expect them from her. And that's how our marriages are struggling. When we come to a marriage, there are certain expectations we have. But as we walk this journey, you realize your expectations are not right. They are not right. They are not the best. They are not fulfilled. They, I mean, they are, they cannot be fulfilled. They cannot be fulfilled. So, dear friends, I want to challenge us that we come to marriage fellowship where we can learn about these things and it can help us. It can help us, dear friends. So what do we handle in a marriage fellowship? The marriage fellowship are some of the challenges or some of the things we learn from there. But what areas? Why do we go there? One, we learn about finances in a marriage fellowship. We learn about finances, family finances, how to handle family finances. You can only learn about it in a marriage fellowship. When you meet two couples, it may not be enough. When you meet three couples, you may not be enough. But meet when you're five couples, meet when you're six couples. I want to tell you, dear friends, you'll be enriched to hear how different people are handling their finances and how you can also improve on handling your finances. Yes, it's a big topic that we handle in marriage fellowship. When you meet in marriage fellowship, one, make sure you have a topic to handle. Whether you are handling it as a group, whether you have a speaker who is going to discuss about it, make sure you always have a topic to handle. Family finances, because we all struggle there. For some reason, most of us, we all struggle in handling family finances, but also struggle also in handling sex in marriage. This is something that you also need to learn in a marriage fellowship. When you meet, you handle it as a topic, you share about it, how it is handled, how often, what styles, what modes, at what time, what is possible and what is not possible. I met a friend, a border man, extra, as a matter of fact, and we talked for heart issues. And he was telling me how they they do conjugal, they do sex every day. And I was like, what is this? This is Kira. He told me daily. And I looked at him, he looked very genuine about this matter. And he's 3 years in marriage. He's 3 years in marriage. That was like, hey, are you machines, you people, or what are you? If you're able to do, maybe it's okay. But when you come to marriage fellowship, most of these things you learn about the ideals. You learn about what is best for a marriage and what is not the best for a marriage. You learn how to respect each other. So, dear friends, we learn about conflict resolution. Who of you cannot accept that we have conflicts almost on a daily basis in our marriages? We have things that we disagree on every other time. And dear friends, it is only when we meet in this marriage fellowship that we can learn about the right way to handle conflicts, the right way to approach conflicts. You learn how your spouse approaches conflict. You learn how you also approach conflicts, and you find a common ground of how you can manage it and how you can handle it. And dear friends, that's another thing that we handle. Then we can also handle about planning. Planning for the future. Some families, some marriages, people just leave. They don't know the plan for tomorrow. They don't know the plan for next year. They don't know what they have set up themselves to achieve this year. They're just living their life like that. Just living it like that. I wouldn't use the word aimlessly, but they're just living their life like that. They get money, do this, emotional, do this, do this. But dear friends, when we come in a marriage fellowship, we can always learn from each other. And always learn from each other. Parenting. Did you know that parenting is a very key topic? So when we meet in a marriage fellowship, we can handle the topic of parenting in detail. We are struggling how to parent our children. They are ahead of us. Because for them, they're on TikTok, they're already on phones, they're already on Google, they're already on AI, they're already listening to WhatsApp, they're already on WhatsApp, they're listening to many things on the social media. So they're ahead of us. They're ahead of us. Certain things they know what you are pressing on them. Maybe you learn them from your parents, and you from your parents, your children, and now there's a very big gap. Over the past like 10 or 15 years, a lot of things have changed in our generation. They have changed our generation. So when you want to bring experiences of your parents to put them on your children, my dear friends, you cannot manage. It will be so stressing on you. It will be so much struggle. You will struggle. The topic of in-laws. Did you know that the way to handle our in-laws and our parents can be a complication, has broken down marriages? Handling our parents, how to relate with our parents and our in-laws in our marriage. In our marriage, how to incorporate them to make them part of our marriage has become a challenge. You have the marriage where, the wife is listening to her parents to make orders in her marriage. The man is listening to her parents to make orders in his marriage. And we are consulting them at every point in our marriages. So, dear friends, I want to challenge us that we need to come to this marriage fellowship so that we can be equipped on how to manage these different areas. I've told you about in-laws, about parenting, about career management. Most of us at our time now, we are going for further studies. We are going for further studies. Every other time, want to add on our qualification, want to add on our academic papers, want to add on this course and the other course. But how does it get incorporated in your marriage affairs? Do you know going for further studies can break a marriage, as a matter of fact? You're going to marriage, you are taking on a course that needs you maybe to be away for 3 months full. It can break your marriage if you don't handle it very well at your marriage. You know, if you are going for a course that demands you every weekend to go every Saturday and every Sunday, you are away from your family. Yet these are days that are good, to have time for our marriages, or at our marriages. So, dear friends, I want to challenge us. If you want to know how to handle most of these things at a marriage fellowship, we can always discuss them. And I want to challenge us whenever we meet, wherever you're meeting from, handle about these matters, about career, communication. Communication is another big topic that we always handle in our marriages. So you need to find a way how you can handle the topic of communication. Our marriages are suffering because our communication skills are very low in our marriages. Whatever I've studied in school is most likely it's not working at our marriages. And when you come as married couples to discuss about communication, you realize the different experiences of how people are handling, how people are communicating to each other, and it's very helpful in building their marriages. So I want to challenge you, dear friends, that you need to find a way how you can handle the topic of communication, how you can handle the topic of sex in our marriages, how you can handle the topic of parenting in our marriages, such that we can be equipped and we can reach out to and we can build strong marriages, marriages where we are prospering, marriages where they are joyful, marriages where we are saying thank God for where we have come from, marriages where we are handling conflict resolution, and it's building us, it's strengthening us. You are growing, you are discipling each other, you are in biblical principles, and you are charged up for this marriage, and you're loving it every other moment. You are getting impressed, you're getting encouraged, and you're like, wow, I thank God so much. This marriage fellowship has helped me. I am now able to communicate to my spouse like this. I'm now able to handle this matter like this matter. I'm now able to give direction to my family. I'm now able to support my family. I'm now able to handle finances very well. So it is encouraging and building your family, building your marriage. So, dear friends, I want to challenge us. A marriage fellowship is something you needed like yesterday. That's what they say in English. You need it like yesterday. So the better you join a marriage fellowship, the earlier you can learn better. If you can't, start with the WhatsApp or maybe marriage fellowship. Start with the WhatsApp marriage fellowship. I told you for it to be very good, there must be no dictation of terms, though we can have principles that guide us. Though we can have principles that guide us. You need principles, friends, that can guide us. So, dear friends, I want to challenge us that you need principles that can guide your marriage if you are to do, if that can guide your marriage self, your marriage fellowship, if you are to handle these matters very well. Matters of openness, matters of supporting each other. When someone loses their friend, their dear one, how do you handle, how do you support them? You need to have a principle, now you support them. When someone loses, you can't be married fellowship. A friend has lost their children, some couple has lost their parents, and you are folding your hands like this, and you have no help that you can offer. No. I visited a friend of mine this last some weekend back, and he was telling me that marriage fellowship, they live in Kampala, but a friend lost their dear one in up country, far up country from Kampala, and almost the whole marriage fellowship drove their cars to go there. So, dear friends, that's the essence of a marriage fellowship. The essence of marriage fellowship. You support each other. In this life, you'll face certain situations where you cannot support yourself alone. You lose your dear one, and the whole cost is on you. You need the marriage fellowship to stand with you. The church may not do their best. The church they may go in their treasury and get for you some amount of money, but that cannot be enough at all. You need people who can come closer to you, and the church may not come close to you as the. Some of us come from very large churches with 1,000 members at the church. So, but the marriage fellowship will help you to stand with you and will encourage you. They will help you to grow in setting goals. They will help you to grow in facing complex matters in your marriage. They help you, to manage expectations. They help you to make focuses and they cling to each other, reconcile to each other every other time. So I want to challenge you, dear friends. You need to belong to a marriage fellowship such that it can build you together. Your marriage can grow from strength to strength. A marriage is a block. And this broker needs to grow from strength to strength. A marriage, you remember marriage, we're also building a clan, we are building a tribe, we are building a society. It is from marriage where we are building even the nation. So when the marriage is not strong, then it means the one nation is not strong, the community is not strong, the clan is not strong, and the tribe is not strong. So, dear friends, we need this marriage fellowship so we can build each other, we can speak to each other, and we can grow from strength to strength. So I want to encourage you, may the good Lord bless you, dear friends. But maybe if I can make one clear recap, I want to challenge you. This marriage fellowship, they are good, they strengthen us, we handle different topics and they give us a direction, they help us overcome challenges, they help us to grow and disciple each other. This marriage fellowship, they encourage us where we are struggling, this marriage fellowship, they stand with us. Instead of going for a divorce, before you file for a divorce, before you run to your parents, can't you call members of your fellowship? It is very okay that we can call members of our fellowship to stand with us. Before we go to the probation office to handle to take matters there, we can first call the marriage fellowship members so that they can stand with us, they can pray with us, we can go in some private place and we can talk our issues, we can cry to each other. It is very okay, dear friends. In a marriage, you can find things that will make you cry. Make you cry. But I want to tell you, a marriage fellowship, it should help you to stand with each other, to be strong with each other, to encourage with each other, to forgive each other. Topics of like forgiveness, you can learn them in a marriage fellowship. Some of us, we are coming from a background where forgiveness is a trouble, where forgiveness is very hard and we cannot manage it. So I want to challenge us, dear friends, you need to learn about forgiveness in a marriage fellowship. You need to learn about forgiveness, dear friends, in a marriage fellowship, and it can help you to build you up. But for also, I want to challenge you. We disciple each other, like I told you. We grow together. We study the God's word. We are enriched in biblical values, and we grow from strength to strength. We share a meal. Most of the marriage fellowship, sharing a meal will be part of the fellowship. Generosity, we have a spirit of generosity there. We learn it from there. So, dear friends, we can learn all this in a marriage fellowship. May the good Lord bless you wherever you are. And may the good Lord bless you. Keep clicking and liking our TikTok. We have a TikTok account, our YouTube with this message. When you listen to it, you can subscribe to this message and you can share it to your members, your friends, so that they can be built up, they can be strengthened. Maybe you have members at your fellow marriage fellowship who have been struggling to be regular members. There's a challenge that we meet there. We have members who are not regular. We say a fellowship is every month, but they come once in 5 months, they come in once in a year. Maybe this message can encourage them, can build them up and strengthen them. May the good Lord bless you, dear friends. Thank you so much for listening in. Till next time when we meet, like, subscribe, keep following up on us. The good Lord bless you. Nice time.